Hey ladies and gents, it's Zen back. We are doing Avorion again. Yes, this fucking game still has me sucked in hard. We are going to do salvage versus mining. Yeah. So obviously early in the game, most of the thing you're going to be doing is mining. It's the easiest to find, and for the most part, the most efficient early on in the game. We're going to pull up some stuff here. We'll start out by using building mode, and we're going to go into my... So this is one of my destroyers. I switched to this ship for this video just because my other ships are almost too big to... Well, they are too big to do any of this stuff anymore, like mine or salvage, any of that kind of stuff. You can't get in close enough to do a lot of stuff. So we're going to use this smaller ship to highlight what I'm talking about. We're going to bring out some mining lasers right now. And, I'm sorry, mining lasers. We're going to go through some of this stuff here. So we're going to filter out here, and we'll bring up mining, and we'll bring up mining over here. This is what happens when you have a alliance. This is the alliance vault. This is the stuff that you have on your what you currently can access on your ship. You can, of course, move stuff from the alliance over to the mining, depending on what you're doing. But for the most part, I usually... as much stuff as I can, I usually put over here just to keep in the Alliance Vault in case I ever decide to need it on a different ship, all that kind of crap. So, mining, right? When you first start out, you're going to get a probe that has mining lasers on it. You'll, of course, have the mining lasers yourself that you'll actually have on the ship that you can use. And you're going to start out, for the most part, mining everything that you run into to get materials, to build better ships and all that kind of crap. However, mining... lasers, for the most part, are far more efficient than salvage lasers, especially early in the game. You're going to find mining lasers that are 40-50% mining efficiency. And what I'm talking about by efficiency here, we'll pull up this one right here, which is a Xanian. We got damage per second is 12.7, but we have an efficiency of 83.3. That efficiency means is when you're, you find a, say a 5,000 material Xanian asteroid, you're going to get 83% of that asteroid by using this laser. Of course, this efficiency goes down depending on what you're doing. This one's got 23. This one's got 17. I have some that are, this is a tritium one at 83.7. This is one's at 74.7. This is an iron mining laser. And of course it's 50 so there's all kinds of different ones, especially with the damage per second too. Those all change as well. The big difference with these mining lasers is, of course, is the material. So like this one is made out of Xanian. So this Xanian laser here, I can mine Xanian, tritium, neonite, titanium, and iron. However, I will not be able to mine the ones above it. Organite and Avorion. Now, I don't necessarily know that's true. The more I think about it, you should be able to mine Ogonite with this laser. You won't be able to mine Avorion. So if you had a tritium one, say this one's made out of tritium, you'll be able to do neonite, titanium, iron, tritium, Xanian, but you won't be able to do Ogonite and Avorion. It's usually... I do believe somebody at one time said that it was only material that is made out of and lower, but I think that's false. I think you can mine things that are above that as well, just one above, not two above. So that's another thing about it is, of course, the material that the mining laser is made out of. So these are typically, for the most part, more efficient for collecting material. However, they take a lot longer. Like I said, with a damage per second of 17.6, this is a pretty decent damage per second. That one's 12.7. That one is 70.3. So this is, you're getting into the, almost to 100. Some of these are quite a bit less, 6.5, 14.3. And that damage per second, of course, is is how quickly you can break up those asteroids. Even my Avorion lasers over here, 18.6, 21.3, 13 damage per second. So this depends on how long you want to sit there and push the button to blow up your fucking asteroid. For that part, like I said, for the most part, the mining turns are going to be more efficient. You're going to get more material out of the asteroid than you are the salvage laser. However, the big difference, and we'll bring up the salvage, is usually the damage. Oops. Damage per second. Why salvage, for the most part, is better. This one here is 342, 340. So these are putting out a higher damage per second than the mining lasers. However, they're also less efficient. You're looking at 29.2. There's a Avorion salvage laser. That one's 12.2. So these ones are are quite a bit, for the most part, a third or better, less efficient, but they break apart the parts better. And we're going to look at the ones I got on the ship here. That's a 14.6 with 63.3 efficiency, and this is a salvage laser with 1,700 damage a second with a 22.1% efficiency. So like I said, the big difference between these two, of course, are the damage versus efficiency. So, but for the most part, the salvage versus mining debate, I guess you could call it, I find salvage to be more capable of producing a larger amount of material than in one spot than versus mining. Because mining, you're going to do one asteroid, then you have to move to another asteroid, then you're going to do that asteroid, then you have to move to another asteroid. Salvage, for the most part, you're going to be concentrating on one wreck or one large station, and stations usually have a crap ton of material in it. And we're going to push up here, and I'll show you what here. So this is one of the stations I blew up a while ago. And you're going to see exactly how much material is in one station. Same way with these wreckages here. These shipwrecks. This one's going to have, so that's got 130,000 ogonite. You're not going to find that in asteroids. Same way with Xanian, 121,000 Xanian. So these ones right here are going to be far easier to salvage than it is to go out and find 133,000 ogonite worth of asteroid, right? So this is here's the big kicker, what the difference is. Yeah, they're less efficient, but for the most part, when you're running into these wrecks and stuff, you're going to have it's going to be a lot easier to salvage them in big chunks here. So this one is 7 million Xanian, 1.4 million ogonite, right? So we're looking at a big chunk of material here. This thing is fucking huge to begin with. You can obviously see by the size. The other big difference, of course, is with these salvage lasers, you don't have to take all this material. Most of these blocks right here on this, say for example on this wreckage right here, are just hull blocks. They're not a lot of salvage material in those hull blocks. What you're looking for, and this is one of these advantages of salvage, is that you're looking for specific parts, right? So on this ship right here, if you notice, you can see this stuff that looks like where I'm pointing at right now, how that is probably like a processor or a computer or hyperspace or something like that. It's a high-end block that has a lot of material in it. This block up here, what I'm looking at, probably is just a hull block, doesn't have a lot of material in it. So with a salvage laser, you're able to pinpoint specific blocks. So there was 8,380 just in one shot. That's the difference, real big difference between salvage and mining. Mining, you're going to sit there and blow up an asteroid. It'll take you fucking forever. I can just literally go along here, and I picked up another 8,000. Same way with this next one. Yeah, there's one right there. We'll just hit that, and we'll hit it for another, 10,000. Actually, that one was. So now on that wreck there that was started out with quite a bit of Xanian, I've already taken out probably 30,000 with 3 little bursts. You know how many freaking asteroids you have to mine to find that difference? Same way with when I'm looking at this chunk over here. Now, when I get over here, you'll see these little chunks right here, what looks like kind of like circuits. Those are the ones that you want. That's what you're looking for here. And we're going to pull in a little closer. And see if we can get a little closer. Where are you at, buddy? Yeah, here we go. Whoops. Can't. Maybe I'm too close. We'll go down there to the big chunk. So you can see the little circuit type blocks right there. Those are the high-end blocks. Those are the blocks that you want to take out. They're all scattered all over this freaking thing. We're going to pull over here and see if we can get a big chunk out of this one. There we go. Not real big, but, you know, that's 581 ogonite. There's another one for, yeah, so I've already picked up 1,100 just with 2 little bursts. The bigger the block, obviously, the more material you're going to find into it. This one looks like a pretty good size block right here. Let's see what we can do. Pull in a little bit closer. With the higher damage, they're able to break these blocks up pretty quick here. This one looks probably going to be a pretty good sized chunk. Yep, 7,000 right there. And we'll do another one. And we're talking about another 4,000. Ooh, that was a big one. So, yeah, big difference between the salvage and the mining. The salvage, all the materials are already all here in one spot, right? And there's usually a lot of these stations. Sometimes these stations have multiple materials in them. They might not just be ogonite, they'll be xanium. Some will have trinium and all that kind of stuff. To do it by yourself, it's going to take a while. And of course, the further we get into the game, I'll show you what I'm talking about. We'll start using salvage miners, and we're going to automate the process of salvage and mining. I still use mining just because it's a steady influx of material. You know, obviously you have to fly around, blow up ships and stations and that stuff to get the material. Where mining, you can just drop a mining carrier. Actually, I'll show you what I'm talking about. A mining carrier. Here's one of my mining carriers right here. Oh, that's not. It's actually. That's what it actually looks like. This isn't. You can up and downsize these one. This one's actually too big. The one I use is actually. Oh, where did it go? Right here. He's just a little guy. This is a mining carrier that I use. I load it up with like 24 to 36 mining fighters, and I just go park it in a system, and I just put it on mining for the automation, and this thing will just send its fighters out and it'll start mining the sector. Instead of me sitting there with a stupid laser running around shooting asteroid after asteroid, this thing will do it for me. And then we'll talk about, of course, using fighters and all that stuff a little bit later. So now you've seen the, less efficient than the mining laser, but for the most part, with the sheer amount of damage and these larger concentrations of material, you're going to get more out of the salvage than you're in mining. Now, of course, if you're not familiar with the mining part of it, here we'll switch to the mining laser on the front of the ship here, and we're going to go look. And this is one of the bigger drawbacks of mining, is the constant flying around looking for material. Now, of course, early game, this is what you're going to be doing until you find some salvage lasers. You can buy them, you can get them off wrecked ships and that kind of stuff. It's going to take you a while. So I'm going to see if here I can find some. This was about 30 some, almost 40 kilometers out from the that station was. So we're looking for here, and that, that's the other part of it too, the constant looking for material here. All right, so we're going to find, like I said, the efficiencies, of course, is much better with the mining laser, but the materials that you're going to be using are quite a bit smaller here. So this, I'm assuming here, this little rock is going to be probably maybe 3,000 or 4,000. Yeah, 4,500. I got that out of one burst, right, on the other one. So I'm going to get most of this 44,540 Avorion. I'm going to get most of it, but it's going to take me a little bit of time, and you're not going to get to be able to. So if you look at the rock, you'll see on this bottom side there's not a lot of Avorion showing in that rock. It's going to take a little while to burn through it and pick up the better chunks. So probably 0.6, somewhere in there. There we go. Yeah. So we're going to blow up the first part of it here. We'll get, a little chunk, 150, but it takes a while to burn through these asteroids with these lasers. Yeah, I'm going to get more material per asteroid, the efficiency wise with the mining laser, but I'm not going to get, literally you're going to have to go around to each one of these little each one of these asteroids, and it's going to take you forever. And you can of course see the difference in chunks right over here. This chunk over here doesn't have a lot of Avorion in it, but I'm still going to sit here and blow it up. Obviously when it blows up, it's going to give me a little bit there's a little bit. However, if I pick a spot over here that's got a little bit more, I'm going to get a little bit more Avorion depending on how much is in that vein. It looks like, at least to me, that's what it seems like. But you follow my lead here, or what I'm trying to say. Mining lasers are going to be more efficient for material, to gain material. However, the salvage, with the fact that the ships and the stations have a far larger concentration of materials, for efficiency wise, you're better off going with the salvage, especially if you start working your way through the galaxy and you find a little bit higher efficient salvage lasers. I would pick them up, and a lot of times I wouldn't even keep the mining lasers. I do keep some mining lasers. I've tried mining ships. You can build mining ships. They do work, where you can set them to automate. Like a ship like this, I would build a ship like this, put a mining laser on it, put it into a system, and just tell it to mine. The problem is with the AI or the control on these ships, a lot of times they'd get into asteroid fields like this. They're starting to mine, then all of a sudden they'd run into a rock like this, and then they're stuck. So then you have to go back and pull them out of the rock and then reset them to mine again. So there is a problem with these bigger ships when they mine. To let them mine, they have a tendency to get stuck in the rocks. So that's the problem with automation of the mining part of it. However, like I said, with using these carriers, this thing will just sit still. Don't put a mining laser on it. Just put the mining fighters on it. Tell it to mine, and the little fighters will come out and start mining all the material, and they don't get stuck. They'll just keep mining and mining and mining. So really, this is at the end, the most efficient way to mine is using the mining, and I'll go through the whole fighter thing when I get to that point. But for the most part, I'm just trying to let you guys know, especially if you're starting out, how much more. When you're looking for large amounts of material, you're going to get a lot more with the salvage than you are with the mining. Early game, of course, you're going to have to mine until you get to the point where you can start picking up salvage fighters, and that won't be till the Trinium is when you're going to get where you're actually going to end up picking up fighter bays. That's going to be quite a while here. So here's the Trinium hangar. Of course, you don't get it in Neonite, Titanium, or Iron. So it's actually to the Trinium before you can actually build hangar bays to put in fighters. Now you notice over here to the other side over here, this is constantly moving right now. I currently have a little mining carrier that is constantly mining material for me. Not the most efficient way to do it, just because it's getting such small amounts out of the deal, but it's a continuous. It's constantly going, right? It never stops, compared to like salvage, where you actually have to look for wrecks or blow stuff up to get the material out of it. Just by dropping a mining carrier into a system and then leaving it and letting it go, it'll just sit there and constantly mine. So that's one of the nice things about mining, is there's always a constant supply of stuff for it to mine. Where salvage, you have to actually you have to find something, either an abandoned wreck, or you have to blow a bunch of stuff up and then drop a salvage carrier in there, or carry it on your ship to salvage it. So hopefully that answers some of the questions about salvage versus mining, and hopefully this is going to help you, at least efficiency wise, to of course mine versus salvage. So with that said, guys, thanks for watching, and you guys have a good day.